Welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. If you enjoy our content, please like or subscribe.
Hi, welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron. Do you have construction needs? Maybe you got to get a pergola done or something. Check out K&H Construction. Chris Helms, he's a local guy that walks at you. He'll take care of you and let him know DV LeBron sent you. Today, my very special guest is Miss Tianta Schwartz, who's running for Ellis County District Clerk. How are you doing, ma'am?
Hello, DV. I'm so excited to be here. It's my first time doing a live interview like this. And yes.
You know, this is not always the most comfortable thing. And I'm sure with this whole election thing, you are getting a lot of first. So
Yes.
there's just a lot of everything. But like I tell every candidate when they come on, thank you for wanting to serve your community in this rough and tumble gauntlet that is Ellis County politics. I know that things can be interesting. So wanting to put yourself out there to serve your community. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know, there's a lot of people who may not know you. So I always start off with an intro. Can you tell people about yourself?
Yes, I'd love to. My name's Tianta Schwartz, and I have lived in Midlothian for over 20 years. I have 5 children, 6 grandchildren. All 5 children have graduated from Midlothian High School. Right now, I am serving County Court at Law 1. I'm in my 8th year serving the court in the Ellis County Public. Presiding judge is Jim Chapman, and I love what I do. I'm very passionate about the court system, about justice, and also the district clerk's office. I work with that office, of course, every day. They're part of my team and what we do in Ellis County Court at Law right now.
So you're currently working in the office in some kind of capacity. The big question, you know, that people may not know is, what does that office do? What does the office do that you're running?
I get that question a lot. And actually, they confuse the district clerk with the county clerk. So let me start with the district clerk. The district clerk is the official record keeper and court manager for all the district court filings. The district court would be your felonies, family law, civil law, CPS, juvenile, and there's some other things, protective orders. We could go on, tax suits. I can name many types of law. It also is, core function is the jury process, not just sending out jury cards, the whole jury process. And that process, I've worked in it many years now. Of course, being part of the court allows me to be part of our jury process, which we have a central jury room that we're meeting right now. And well, actually, we've been meeting the last couple of years in the Waxahachie Civic Center, but exciting news. In Ellis County right now, we have our own central jury room, and that will start in February. So it's in our building, thank goodness, instead of taking everyone remote. That's been an exciting process to watch. The third, one of the other areas, of course, is passports. They also keep the court's registry, which has non-interest accounts, cash bonds, and interest-bearing accounts. So it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it sounds like it. There's a lot of legalese there, a lot of that stuff. And you know, that can always get quite interesting. Now, how is that different from like Crystal Valdez's current office?
Yes, Miss Valdez. Okay. She has vital records, your birth certificate. She also has all the deeds and recordings in her office. She also serves the county courts. So she has civil suits, probate, guardianship, mental health, misdemeanors. So her office also tackles a lot. You can go to both websites also and see the processes. There's forms, and it also lists some of the actions that they do for both offices.
And it's a lot. I've had Crystal on, and it's amazing what these offices have to handle, you know, and doing their jobs for everyday citizens. And you know, it's just a great responsibility. How does the district clerk actually impact the average citizen? Because I'm sure you get that question all the time.
You know,
Like if it goes wrong, what would be the wrong?
I love answering this question. I recently was in a meet and greet, and this certain group of community actually had a civil suit, DV, pending in one of our district courts. I told them, as we discussed their case a little bit, just how important the court's file was. That file represented this community of people. And so that file needs to be handled efficiently and accurately because that file is a child, a victim, a person, a family navigating divorce, as I spoke about before. It can also represent, a child, a victim, people needing resolution in our case. The one thing that is difficult for people in our community is a lot of times they want to go to these offices and get legal advice. And of course, we're prohibited by law to give legal advice, but we can give a process and we can, of course, accept a new file, but we cannot tell them what to file and, of course, give any type of legal advice. An attorney has to do that. Or they can seek out their own counsel, or they can, there's a lot of helpful websites. We have a law library on the second floor of the courts building, and there's also good websites. I think that's the most frustrating thing.
Not being able to help them do something, even though that's the paperwork you got to file, but legally you can't.
Yes, sir. That, because my heart are for people and I want resolution for them, especially when you're navigating something that's unfamiliar. It is very difficult to not want to handhold them, and we've got to give an attorney opportunity to do that. We're not able to give them legal advice.
What made you want to run for this? What motivates you? What's your principle?
I'll get a little emotional about this, or I'll try to keep a straight face. I have deep roots here and I love serving our community. And now moving into my 8th year serving the court, I have a passion for my job. I have a passion for justice. I have a passion for the law. And this is a natural step. When I learned that Miss Reed, of course, was retiring back at the beginning of last year, I took a deep thought and said, I really want to do this. And of course, now she's endorsing my campaign, which is a huge step after 20 years of service. Miss Melanie Reed is endorsing my campaign and she'll be retiring.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now so this position, you believe you will be able to do from day one?
Absolutely. I have Ellis County experience. I have consistently been working close to 2 decades in Ellis County. The legal community trusts me. And day one, I'm going to hit the ground running because I know what that office needs. I also know the functions they deal with, the support the court needs. And there's some other areas, DV, like the Office of Court Administration, the OCA, Office of Court Administration. There's accountability that we in our data to provide data to the OCA. So Ellis County gets resources we need. So in other words, the 504th District Court. The reason the OCA was able to get data from Melanie Reed's office to know how many court filings there are to add a new court. Without that data being correct and accurate, we could lose resources. And of course, we don't want to ever lose resources. We need to add resources because we're a growing community.
Now, how will you be this is very important because if there's something that people talk about every year is their property taxes. And while you don't directly deal with that, you're using the public's money. So how important is it to you to be a good steward of the public's money?
That is a great question. Well, first of all, the biggest impact I have is I'm going to be able to start day one. I'm not going to have to learn our software. I know that. I'm not going to have to learn about jury. I know that. There are so many areas that I've been doing already that I have so much knowledge that I've obtained through the years that I'm going to be day one. So I'm not going to need all this extra training. Of course, there's going to be things we're going to be learning together, right? And I know our culture, which is also a big deal. Saving money also is processing, not taking that time to learn all the processes. I mean, we're going to save money because I'm going to know those and we're going to keep going. There's not going to be this delay from day one.
Day one. Now, because you've been working in this office, you probably know some things that you'd like to improve. So talk to me about some improvements you'd like to see to the office.
Yes, one of the main things is retaining historical knowledge. Mrs. Reed, there is such a strong loyalty that is really great. And she has retained staff, which has been remarkable, the staff that she's retained. But now that we have a natural process of people retiring, and so what we need to do is make sure that we retain that historical knowledge, and we also start cross-training the new employees so we keep that knowledge going. So there's not a lapse, that we still can keep efficient. We can still keep accurate. You know what's the amazing thing about Ellis County? We've been talking a lot about technology too, and we are working to upgrade our technology.
I was going
One
to
of
ask
the
you about that.
amazing, yeah, one of the amazing things, and that's another subject but we might have slower technology, but still do things more efficiently. In other words, I just talked to a CPS liaison who filed a case in Dallas, took 5 days for it to be accepted. That is just inexcusable. If they come to Ellis County and file a CPS case, DV, our clerk will process that immediately and bring it up to my office so I can set the hearing that day. I just don't understand more technology, but less work.
Right.
We are going to have better technology and more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, technology is the deal. I mean, there's a lot of things that it can make it really user friendly, and I'm going to talk to you about that because that's definitely a thing. But I wanted to ask you one last question on this is you mentioned earlier about, it kind of breaks your heart not being able to help some people who are completely new to this. They have to deal with this system in some way, shape, or form. But there are ways that maybe things can be made more user friendly. Do you have ideas on that and some of the things you'd like to see?
Absolutely. For one is to have more processes on the website available. More information is better. And technology, of course, will help do that. Having more things accessible to them, describing the process so they know what that looks like. And those are the things that I can do.
Yeah. Now, you were talking about the technology. How modern is that office? Does it require a lot of modernization? Will you work with county commissioners, I believe, would be the ones who work on that budget? Does it need a lot?
Yes, I can say right now they're looking at new jury software. Right now, we are using Judge Chapman's integration that we started. He's been using for many, many years, and then he created that to go. He created it so all the courts can use it. And I know right now they're looking at jury software to make it easier. That's a big upgrade. And I know the county is going to be hopefully very soon looking at other technology. Most of the courts use Odyssey DV in the state of Texas, and I hope that they're going to be looking at that again. I haven't got a recent update, but I do know that is in the works.
Excellent.
You know, the best thing for it to do is everybody needs to be able to communicate. You heard me talk about my last speech, how the DA's office, the sheriff's office, the bondsman, all of these systems have got to work together, because if I do one, for instance, I want to just say this real quickly. Like if I create a bench warrant, that bench warrant's got to go, judge just got to sign it, the application. Then it's got to go to the attorneys. It's got to go to the DA's office to get somebody back to do a court hearing. And then it's got to go to the district clerk's office. Then it's got to go to the sheriff's office. So it takes all these steps to get a defendant here. And we all got to work together.
Yeah, those processes are things that people don't understand. So I can imagine that gives some major insight. Now, you have to deal with a lot of records in that office. I mean, that's the obvious. And there's a lot of information that, I mean, I imagine there's hackers, there's people who would love to get that. So how important is it to you to safeguard that information? And is the current system pretty safe?
You know, that is one thing that is true. Yes, our current system has been safe, and most of court documents are public, but there are things that we have to seal, and there's also information that has to be redacted. So our clerks are very good at redacting information that shouldn't go public. And you'll see that quite frequently. Attorneys are also aware of things that shouldn't be in a pleading, and they're very good at that. And then sealing a record, of course, once it's sealed, or an expunction DV or a non-disclosure, those are taken care of immediately in those offices.
One thing that you've dealt with because you're dealing with records just in general is how important, especially in some of these cases, how important accuracy is. Is that something that you will work on and ensure that records are always accurate?
Records have got to be accurate. If that record is not accurate, judicial decisions can't be made well. There's got to be a paper trail. Everything's got to be in that file. And you've got to work with the courts, because when that court and that file goes up to the judge needs to be able to look and see, this happened today. You know, we were talking about a bench warrant. Oh, this person's not here today, but I see that this bench warrant was signed. This bench warrant was presented. And, you know, that county didn't obviously want that person to be transported. So judge can see right then, that's just to give an example. Hey, this went through all the process and I can see it did.
What's the single biggest challenge facing that office that you see?
Like I mentioned earlier, there are there's a lot of term employees. And I think the natural process of retiring and retaining that historical knowledge and passing that historical knowledge on and cross-training, number one, and then adding staff. It's always difficult because we have such a growing county, and retaining staff. I mean, I sat with 40 court managers and administrators across the state this last year in a certification class. And one of the biggest subjects was staff retention, because the economy and people moving around a little bit more, needing more income. We are so lucky. I want our Ellis County citizens to know that people are committed here. We don't have a lot of those problems here. We might have some where some transitions, but really we've retained a lot of people because they're committed to Ellis County and we love what we do.
How does that, and you mentioned it, because every candidate that I have on, I've talked to about growth. It's here, it's big, and it's a lot. How does that really affect that office? Because, you know, you said you've been there. How is it now different from maybe when you started?
A lot different, because the number of cases that we see now year to year is growing rapidly and will continue to grow. And that means case processing will increase. Let's say that, you know, right now we've reached, you know, our court we're close to 2,000 cases a year. Whereas maybe when I first came on, you know, we were at 1,600, it just keeps on increasing. In the district court, that's why we're getting a new court, DV, which is very exciting. The 504 is because these filings are increasing. And so we've got to be able to handle that growth and step in and have the staff to absorb, to be able to handle all the documents coming in and all the documents going out too.
As the leader, you know, if you're elected, you'd be leading this department. Tell me, what kind of culture would you set or continue?
Love this question. So the biggest part of who I am is teamwork, accountability, ownership, and just caring about what we do every day, caring about each other, carrying the load equally. Right now in County Court at Law 1, I love the staff that I work in, and I couldn't do my job without Tyranny, the bailiff, Nick Schindler, of course, Judge Chapman. And we have a small group, but we all carry our load and we help each other. And that's one of the biggest things that I love about the district clerk's office is the camaraderie to keep that going, number one. Number two, I know this is a small saying and people say it all the time, but we make a difference. You got to know you make a difference when you come to work. I want to make a difference in my community. I want to help people. I want to help our citizens resolve these difficult cases. It's a difficult crisis in their life. Coming to court is not your best day. And understanding that it's difficult and hard, and just caring, just smiling and caring and accepting that document that they come in to, file. Being friendly, being kind, like we talked about earlier, being kind.
Kindness does amazing things. It's amazing how much you're blessed as you blessed. It just keeps coming back and forth. And you're right. There's never been a period of time when I've been anywhere near a court that I found it enjoyable. It's not, except Veterans Court. I find that enjoyable, but it's
Right,
not about me. It's about helping somebody else. But it's
right.
it's usually the worst time of your life,
Yes.
and they're coming to you in the worst. And kindness could help so much with that. How important is to you to communicate what is going on in that office to the public, to the people you serve?
That's part of transparency, and that's another court culture we carry, is being transparent and communication. Of course, I'm a communicator naturally. I like to be transparent. That is something that comes easy to me, and I want to be able to communicate that to my staff, just working together, being understanding, but also I come with a hard work ethic. DV. I think sometimes we've lost just working hard from the minute I step in, the first person I serve to the last person I serve. They should get the same quality, the same, kindness, efficiency, accuracy from the last. I mean, if I'm in a jury trial and it's 7:00, I want to treat that person the very same way. I think that's very important to be consistent too, very consistent. People don't like to hear the word, process, but really they want our laws to have structure. We wouldn't do well without the structure, and that structure needs to be followed consistently. Very important. And that leads to fairness. We need to be fair, treat somebody the same as the next person that comes in.
Do you think that whole process thing is the most misunderstood part of that job, that office?
Yes. It's like I said earlier, we want instant gratification.
Right.
Right? You want to come in, you want to file this, and you want a court date tomorrow, and they don't understand to set a trial, it might take 45 days. If it's a bigger case, you have a scheduling order and it might take a year. You don't like to tell people that, but there's guidelines and steps, and there's the law. We have to follow the statutes. And so you can't just set something tomorrow and expect someone to give notice. That's just not going to happen. And I think the process, people misunderstand the process. You're right.
I can only imagine. Anytime you're dealing with government, things have to happen, and those wheels never turn quite as quick as you might like, especially in certain situations. But that's kind of the nature of the beast. You have to follow the law. No matter what, the
Yes.
law has to be followed.
Yes.
There would be problems if you didn't. Why should the voters of Ellis County trust you with this position?
The main reason they should trust me is because, first of all, I've been working in the system. This is my 8th year. Really longer that's my 8th. I'm entering my 8th year in county court at law number 1, but I've worked in Ellis County close to 2 decades, and I've never stopped. I have consistently been working in Ellis County, and I will be ready day one. And I love our community.
And it's a great community. I
It
can
is.
vouch for that, and I've really enjoyed, and I love how I embrace this community and how it's embraced me. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you kind of a one-word answer, like a lightning round. What one word you think describes best public service to you?
Public service,
What one word comes to mind?
heart.
Definitely needed. I love to give the show's all about the candidate. I want every candidate to talk directly to the voters without somebody getting in the way or somebody putting their opinion on it. That way people can make their decision on what they see. It's never about what DV LeBron thinks or whatever. Never on this show. So I'm going to go ahead and be quiet, which is very difficult, and let you go ahead and speak to the voters of Ellis County.
Okay. Voters of Ellis County, my name's Tiana Schwartz, and I am running for the Ellis County District Clerk. I'm being endorsed by your current District Clerk, Melanie Reed. I'm entering my 8th year as the certified court manager for Ellis County Court at Law Number 1, presiding judge Jim Chapman. I have the experience, knowledge, and the understanding to start this office day one. I'm very excited about this opportunity that's before me. I am passionate about what I do, about the work that I do. I'm very committed to this community, very passionate, and this is my home. This is where I've rooted myself. I've raised my 5 children. I have 6 grandchildren. I serve at a local church, Life Church. I want to reflect Christ in everything that I do. It's very important to me, and I love and care about this community very deeply, DV. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I definitely, this is a labor of love, but I love the good people that I've met throughout the years. You know, these 5 years that I've met so many good people that just wanted to help their community, wanted some way, shape, or form help their community. And that it's a big undertaking. I mean, it has an effect on family. It has effect on everything. So thank you so much for coming on. Can you stick around real quick after the show, ma'am?
Yes, love to.
Thank you.